Hachette Audio and Chuck D present This Day in Rap and Hip Hop History, written by Chuck D with Duke Eatman, Ron Maskell, Kate Gamble, and Jonathan Bernstein. Forward by Shepard Fairey. Read by Chuck D, D.R.E.S the Beatnik, and Shepard Fairey.
Hip-hop is without a doubt the most influential and at its greatest moments, the most creative musical and cultural movement of the last 35 years. Today, the influence of hip-hop permeates virtually every form of pop music and fashion. At age 11 or 12, I didn't exactly see the future clearly, but hip-hop pushed its way into my life. It may seem strange now, but in the early 80s, I didn't think hip-hop wanted me, a white middle-class kid from the South. Images of the South Bronx on fire and the media coverage of breakdancing and rapping made me feel hip-hop culture was off limits to me as a cracker from the South with zero street cred. I loved Run DMC and the Sugar Hill Gang, even though Rapper's Delight was the only song of theirs I knew. Eventually, I noticed hip-hop's influence on groups like Blondie with their song Rapture and the Tom Tom Club with Genius of Love. Ironically, it would be punk rock, though, the music culture that initially made me think I had to abandon all else that later brought me back to hip-hop. I started skateboarding in 1984 as an escape from team sports conformity. At that time, if you skateboarded, it was compulsory to dive into punk and hardcore music. I quickly discovered bands like the Sex Pistols, Black Flag, The Clash, the Dead Kennedys, the Misfits, and Bad Brains. As a frustrated teen, I loved the punk bands because they all had energy and attitude, plus a lot of them had social and political things to say. The Clash and the Dead Kennedys especially demonstrated to me that musical virtuosity was less important than passion, style, and a message that connects with the disenfranchised underdog. I usually describe 1984 to 1986 as my punk rock orthodoxy phase, where I refused to listen to anything else, though I did discover and love Bob Marley. Since Bad Brains played hardcore and reggae, I was open to Bob Marley and loved his messages against oppression. A friend of mine had a New York City hardcore compilation tape called New York Thrash that had songs by Bad Brains and some fast lo-fi songs by a band called the Beastie Boys. When the Beasties released License to Ill, I was intrigued, and it turned out to be the album that brought me back to hip-hop and helped me overcome my fear of being a cultural interloper. I loved License to Ill, and I knew a lot of the Led Zeppelin and other classic rock samples, which inspired me to take an interest in how hip-hop songs are creatively.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?